the peace, and that no nation on this earth can ever count on bombs and guns to secure their safety, but can only count on the goodwill of their neighbors to keep them safe and their children safe. You got to have the courage to love in this world, because to get pissed off and start swinging because you feel threatened is not an act of courage. In fact, it's an act of fearfulness and submission to fear. There are people in this world who make peace, go into war zones, and don't carry a single weapon. There are people who go into places like Sri Lanka, places where there is conflict, places where you can get killed and it's easy, and they know that this can happen to them, and they go in there anyway. They're not under any illusions. They know how monstrous fear can manifest itself. They're not under any illusions. They don't think that the bomb's not going to kill them, but they make a sacrifice for humanity, hoping and praying that people of goodwill who stand together in peace can use the power of love to keep those fingers off the triggers for the sake of the children and the seniors, but also the water and the land and the air and all of us. Another story that I like to tell my own children is a story when Jesus, again, was teaching to the multitudes. They say it was 5,000, but I learned that the Bible writers didn't include the women or the children. So it was probably 15,000 people he was talking to. Didn't have a loudspeaker either. And it got along around dinner time. And if you read the Gospels, Jesus is always pulling people together around food, banquets and stuff all the time. He's Jewish, right? That's clear sign. Dead giveaway. And he says to his helpers, he says, hey, it's getting around dinner time, y'all. We got to feed the folks. And you can just imagine the helpers. They're like, man, we can't feed all these people. They got to go home. Now, you tell me, was it that the people said, yeah, there's not enough, so they went back to their villages and they came back with some of their own food and shared it? Is that what happened? Could be. Is it possible that what the helpers perceived as insufficient, inadequate, was actually not scarcity, but abundance? It was a matter of perception. Or maybe it was just a flat-out miracle. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I can tell you this. There was enough. There was more than enough. There's enough today. There is enough. And our perception of scarcity doesn't change the fact that there's enough. Our perception that there's not enough doesn't mean there's not enough. The fact that there might not be that much doesn't stop you and me from sharing for the people around us. There was enough. There is enough. There's enough for the Christians and the Jews and the Muslims and the Buddhists and the Hindus and the native spiritualists and anybody else you want to include. There's enough for the straights and the gays. There's enough. We don't have to throw anybody under the bus. There's enough for the people born in America and the people who have come here. We don't have to say, and I know my dear friend Representative Moran and I have seen this so many times, nothing in this bill should be read to allow undocumented aliens from receiving the benefits of this program. They write it in so much, you could see them just putting it in there permanently because they could save on ink if they did. But it's a scarcity-minded, fear-minded, not enough-minded way to approach the world. There's enough for us all. There is enough for the people of the earth and the planet Earth that we live on. There's enough for us to look out after this planet. There's enough for us to live here. We don't have to destroy creation just to live and run our industrial economy. There's enough. There's enough, y'all. But the question is, will you as a leader, and everyone in here is a leader, carry the message of radical abundance back to the community that you live in and live your life that way? Because let me tell you something, living your life in a spirit of generosity and love is contagious. So let me just say, who are the people who will stand up and say, there's enough? Will you say it with me? There's enough. Say there's enough. Say there's enough for everybody. There sure is. There's enough for us all. The Global Marshall Plan, not my idea, I just had the honor of introducing it, is one way we're going to do it, but this house has many bricks in it, and this is just one of them. Each one of you has one to put in place. Each one of you is going to be part of the mortar to hold them in place, and we all have to take on a missionary zeal to make this world safer, cleaner, and better for us all. And God bless you.